I think I'm going to really regret not getting my tripod out, but I truly can't be bothered, so I'm going to get arm ache, and if this is really shaky, then sorry. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing really well. Today's video, as you can probably tell from the title, is a little bit different to videos that I've done here before. This, in a way, I guess, is kind of like a letter to myself, and just a bit of an update of what's been going on, where I am, and what I'm getting up to now. So 2022 was, or is, the first year in what feels like a long time that I didn't sit down in January and write myself some proper goals. It wasn't so much like a really conscious decision, it was just that we had a lot going on. We were in the process of buying our first place, job stuff was sort of up in the air, and there was just a lot going on. So I thought to myself that writing goals and setting really formal objectives for this year would sort of just stifle me. I felt that setting goals would be too much pressure, too much confinement, and ultimately I just didn't really trust myself to even be able to achieve the goals in January. I didn't trust myself to be disciplined enough to actually hit any goal that I did set, so the fear of failure stopped me from even trying. But still, despite my lack of formal objectives or goals, I did have some loose aims of things that I wanted to achieve in 2022, and the main one of those was to write and release the second One Road In novel, which I can tell you in short has not happened. Basically I want to talk about why that is. One Road In has had a really positive reception. Without tooting my own horn too much, I've had a couple of people reach out to me and say how much they related to the main character, how much they sort of personally related to the mental health struggles that Sadie was going through, and I'm obviously very overwhelmed and pleased by that feedback. A few people did say that they personally related to the main character, who, if you haven't already guessed it, had quite a lot of my own personality in her. Having said that, One Road In was incredibly hard to write. I know, you know, writing a novel is not easy. I'm under no false pretenses that it should be easy, but One Road In was like pulling teeth from the very first page. It took so much longer to write than number 47, had so much more complexity to it, and I honestly don't remember more than a handful of times where I felt the writing was flowing naturally. I think a big reason for some of that is just how personal One Road In was. Though obviously it's a thriller with supernatural elements to it, a lot of it was sort of personally relatable to me, and that added a lot of pressure in writing it. I was putting a lot of pressure on myself to get it right, and the thing is, you're not going to get it right, not for everyone at least. One Road In ended in a far more open way than I had initially planned for it to. In the initial stages of planning, I had the ending being very clear-cut and very closed, so the readers would only get to visit Rose Bay once. There was no space for a sequel. However, as I neared ending the first draft and then future drafts, my characters basically had other ideas, and I couldn't quite tie off the novel in such a clear-cut way, which led me to start thinking about sequels. Almost a year on, and I've now got 3, sort of, possibly 4, sequels planned. Or not necessarily sequels, they're books that live inside the Rose Bay world. They're all partially planned, and very partially written, and not a single one of them has hooked me in the same way that One Road In did. There are glimmers of something special in all of them, but none of them have hit the same. And I've been banging my head against the wall for months, for more than all of this year so far, trying to work out what it is that's not sitting quite right. The conclusion I've finally come to is this: One Road In is not what I'm meant to be writing right now. That sounds really, really corny, but I really don't know how else to word it. I have absolutely no doubt that I'll be visiting Rose Bay again in the near future, and I'll absolutely be taking my readers with me. But the story I am meant to be focusing on right now is completely different. The story I'm working on right now is more complex, but in like a very different way. Again, it's kind of closer to personal experience, but through a very different lens. And unlike anything that I've written in probably the last 12 months or so, I'm actually excited about it. So having said all of that, I want to set out some intentions or goals for the rest of this year. This is my plan, this is what I'm going to do, this is what I'm going to achieve, and I'm absolutely going to be disciplined enough to get there. And I'm telling all of you like this so that you can all hold me accountable. Okay, so intention 1. I am going to test writing my next novel in a very, very different way to how I've written previously. Without going into too much detail, because I will do videos on this later, I'm going to try writing my novel using something called the Agile methodology. It sounds it sounds really wanky, and it kind of is. But if there is something I've learned about myself this year, it's that I really struggle if I don't have a routine. I struggle without goals, I struggle without deadlines, I struggle without objectives, and I think I have let my sense of routine and my sense of having goals and that kind of thing really erode since COVID. Pre-COVID, I was really good at getting up really early before work and writing and being disciplined enough to do 2,000 words a day and being disciplined enough to really strive for what I wanted. And then COVID sort of completely got rid of that routine, and what I on paper seems like should have been the like amazing freedom to be able to do all of that stuff actually resulted in me doing none of it because I didn't have that routine. So I need to re-establish that routine ASAP. For anyone that works in tech, I'm sorry for bringing up Agile in your free time. Potentially triggering, I apologise, but basically this is something that I use in my day job, and I'm hopeful that whilst it's really not designed for creative things, it can work. I'll definitely be doing a video later down the line about this, about what Agile actually is and how to like set it up for a novel. In short, it's a practice used mostly by technology teams and development teams to focus on iterative goals, on sort of small broken down objectives, on reactiveness, on flexibility, and loads more. There will be a lot of Agile that definitely doesn't fit in the creative process, but I'm looking forward to kind of cherry picking and seeing what can work for me. And if it really doesn't work, then I'll try something else. That leads me on to intention 2. I am going to vlog and blog and chat and shout and just be way more vocal about what I'm doing. I have kind of fallen off of social media a lot recently. YouTube has pretty much disappeared from my routine. Instagram pretty much just fell off a cliff. I just haven't really done anything. So I want to shout more about what I'm doing and share this kind of experiment with you. So I'll be vlogging all of this Agile stuff, and hopefully it'll make a bit more sense once I actually show you what it is. I also think this would help with the accountability side, which I really need help with. And then intention 3 is my final intention. It's not really an intention, it's not really a goal, kind of just a bit of a statement to myself. I plan to remind myself as often as I possibly can, at least daily, why it is that I write. I write because I feel compelled to. I write because I can't imagine a world that exists where I don't write. I write because I love creating characters and worlds that speak to myself and to other people. And I write because I love questioning the things I see around me. And up until roughly now, I think I'd sort of lost track of that. I lost track of why it is that I was writing. I was trying so hard to kind of force this sequel to One Road In that wasn't quite right for me right now, that I just really begrudged writing, and it took me an embarrassingly long time to realise that that was what was happening. I feel like I've learnt a lot about myself in the last 6 months, sort of the hard way, but I'm glad I've got there, and I'm glad I've had the opportunity to take a step back and kind of assess what it is I'm doing and why I'm doing it, and I'm excited to get back to doing what I'm meant to be doing. That's it. That's all for today's video. Just a bit of an update and a bit of a, kind of like a letter to myself, I guess. Just reminding myself why it is I do this, and getting back out there with some better goals, and hopefully a new and exciting way of writing a novel. I don't know, we shall see. If you did enjoy this video, please do hit that thumbs up button and be sure to subscribe. I'm really planning on getting more videos out there this year, so there'll be loads on this whole Agile thing. Hopefully it will make sense after I've actually done some videos on it. More on the writing process, on what I'm reading, book reviews, all that fun stuff. So if that is your cup of tea, then please do subscribe. Thanks again for watching. Have a good one.